Jai, Tulsi Maharani ki Jai. We offer our most respectful obeisances unto all Christ our Buddha's reward, for just like desire for peace, fulfill the desires of everyone, and therefore compassion for the all conditioned souls, by function of the Krishna. Kripa Sindhu Vyevacha Pachitanam, Pavanebhyo Vaishnavebhyo, Namo Namaha. Balaram, Draupadi, and of course Gora and Nimai and Ananda's visiting us too. So a lot of guests this morning. So Bhagavatam class. Jayaran Madhuma Kunya Bihari Jayaradhu Madhuva Kunya Bihari Madhuva Kunya Bihari Gopi Janabalabha Iri Padadhari Gopi Janabalabha Gopi Janabalabha Iri Padadhari Irivadhari Yasunanandana Brajajanuranjana Yasunanandana Brajajanuranjana Yamuna Tira Manachanti Yamunatera Manachari Jairanu Madhava Kunya Bihari Jayaradhu Madhuva Kunya Bihari Madhuva Kunya Bihari Gopi Janabalabha Iri Badadhari Pidanabalaba Ire Paradhaudi Gopi Janabalaba Ire Barudhauti Yasunanana Brajajanu Ranjana Yasunanana Brajajanu Ranjana Yamuna Tira Banachaude Yamuna Tira Banachaude Jairano Madhwa Kunyabe Hante Jairano Madhwa Kunyabe Hante Jai Om Vishnu Pad Paramahamsa Paravatikacharya also Tadas Satashi Shima His Divine Grace Abhaya Charanara Bhaktivedanta Goswami Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai ISKCON Founder Acharya Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Anantakoti Vaishnava Vrinda Ki Jai Namacharya Srila Haridas Thakur Ki Jai Prem Se Kaho Sri Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Shidwaita Gadadha Sri Vasati Gaur Vakta Vrinda Ki Jai Sri Sri Radhakrishna Gopi Gopinath Shyamakunda Radhakunda Giri Govardhan Ki Jai Vrindavanam Ki Jai Mathuranam Ki Jai Jagadasami Ki Jai Yamunamaya Ki Jai Srimati Tulasi Devi Ki Jai Saveda Bhakta Vrinda Ki Jai Gaur Premalanda Hari Hari Bol. All glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to the assembled devotees, all glories to Shri Guru and Gauranga Srila Prabhupada Ki Jai Nama Om Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prastaya Bhutale Shrimati Bhaktivedanta Swami Namani Namaste Saraswati Devi Gaurvani Pacharni Nivasesha Shunyavadi Paschatya Deshatarni. So today we are reading from Srimad Bhagavatam, 10th canto, 63rd chapter, text 27. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Om Namo Bhagavate Vasudevaya. Nana Bhavar Liliavopapanar Devan Sadun Loka Setun Vivarshe Hamse Unmargan Ingsaya Vartamanan Janmaitat Te Bara Haraya Bhume Nana Bhavar Lilayo Nana Bhavar Lilaya Vopapanar Nivaya Yopamanar Devan Sadun Lokasetun Biparshi Hamsun Vargam Himsaya Vartamanam Janmaitate Barahrit Raya Bhume Raya Bhume Nana Bavar Lilayai Nana Bavar Lilayai Vo Papanair Devan Sadun Lokasetun Biparshi Hong Sun Bargan Hingsaya Vartamanan Janmaitate Baraharaya Bhume Nana Bhavai Lilayai Vo Papanair Devan Sadun Lokasetun Viparshi Hamsun Bargan Hingsaya Vartamanan Janmaitate Baraharaya Bhume right? Nana, various, Bhavai, with intentions, Lilia, as pastimes, Eva, indeed, Upapannai, assumed, Devan, the demigods, Satun, the saintly sages, Loka, of the world. Satan, the clouds of religion. Vivarshi, you maintain. Hamsi, you kill. Utmargan, those who stray beyond the path. Hangsiha, by violence. Vartamanan, living. Janma, birth. Etat, this. Te, your. Mara, the burden. Araya, to relieve. Bhume, of the earth. Translation: with various intentions, you perform pastimes to maintain the demigods, the saintly persons, and the codes of religion for this world. By these pastimes, you also kill those who stray from the right path and live by violence. Indeed, your present incarnation is meant to relieve the earth's burden. Should we repeat? With various intentions. You perform pastimes to maintain the demigods, the saintly persons, and the codes of religion for this world. By these pastimes, you also kill those who stray from the right path and live by violence. Indeed, your present incarnation is meant to relieve the earth's burden. So, purport by the followers of His Divine Grace A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Prabhupada, as Lord Krishna states in the Bhagavad Gita 9:29, Samahang sarva bhuteshu name dvesho stina priya ye bhajanti tumam bhaktya maite teshu chapyaham. I envy no one, nor am I partial to anyone. I am equal to all, but whoever renders service unto me in devotion is a friend to me, and I am also a friend to him. The demigods and sages, Devan, Sadhun, are dedicated to executing the will of the Supreme Lord. The demigods act as cosmic administrators, and the sages, by their teachings and their good example, illumine the path of self-realization and holiness. But those who transgress the natural law, the law of God, and live by committing violence against others, are vanquished by the Supreme Lord in His various pastime incarnations. As the Lord states in the Bhagavad Gita 4:11, Ye yata mam prapadyante hangs tataiva bhajam yaham. He is impartial, but He responds appropriately to the actions of the living beings. So also I'm going to read some of the commentaries by the Acharyas, which are very important. So Vishwanath Chakravarti Thakur comments, if that is so, then why is there seen in me the material qualities of attachment and hatred revealed by my showing favor or punishment? So of course, Krishna here is replying to the Shiva Dwara. For those of you who don't know what's going on in this particular story, there's the Shiva Dwara offering prayers to Krishna because the Shiva Dwara has recently been defeated by the Narayan Dwara, or Narayan's weapon. And so, actually, one thing is if you're asking for forgiveness, first you got to offer prayers. This is generally the system in the Bhagavatam. When there's someone who's begging that Krishna will forgive them or not punish them, then you offer prayers. So you desire, let me protect the devotees who are favorable to me and kill the demons who are inimical to me. By accepting such intentions out of affection for your devotees, for your pastimes, you protect the devas such as Indra, the devotees and munis who act as the shelter for the people of this world, Loka Setuna, and you destroy those who wander from the path. Thus, raga and dvesha, attachment and repulsion, being aspects of your affection for your devotee, are not maya. Important point. Thus I have understood that your birth is for relieving the burden of the earth, your own devotee. And Jiva Goswami, some of it's exactly the same. Right. Yeah, I could read it. If I am without fault, why do I sometimes kill? By pastimes with your devotees which arise at the proper time, consisting of the various goals, such as protecting those who follow your devotees and killing those opposed to your devotees, you protect Indra and the other devatas and sages who are shelter for the general populace. You kill those who oppose the proper path, since you are the avatara who has appeared to relieve the earth of her burden, since she is your great devotee. Because you were so merciful to your topmost devotees, such as the earth, your violence against the wicked is your great quality beyond Maya. And Sanatana Goswami's commentary. Very little time. Though you previously gave mercy as Narayan and various avatars, now you appear to manifest your unlimited qualities as Bhagavan to benefit the world. You support the devatas by pastimes and kill the deviants from the correct path who cause violence to others. Or Unmargan refers to demons and wicked kings who violate the scriptural path and live by violence or of others' lives, like Rakshasas. You have appeared from Devaki Janma to relieve the burden of the earth by giving mukti and bhakti as suitable to the person. Or now more than previously, you are distributing mercy. You support the devatas by pastimes such as infant activities, nana, bhavai, accepted for playing, not like humans who are forced to accept bodies by karma. You perform your childhood actions to give the highest bliss to the devatas and others, not as the Lord complete in himself. You nourish those of proper conduct, sadhun, and devotees, loka setun. You create fear, hungsi, in the demons when they hear about you. They also begin to meditate on you. Or you take those following paths contrary to bhakti, and by hearing, etc., have them give up the wrong paths and take to the correct path. You take birth to decorate the earth. Since I am most sinful, save me who have surrendered to you by your mercy at this time, though I should be killed. And of course, that's the Shiva Dwara. So again, Nanabavar Lila Yayo Papanair Devan Sadun Lokasetun Bibarshi Hamsum Margan Himsaya Vartamanan Janmaitate Badra Haraya Bhume. So Omagana Timidandasha Gananjana Shalakaya Chakshur Unmilitam Yena Tasmai Shigarave Namaha. So, actually, the first portion of this particular verse is very interesting. I want to comment on that. Nana Bhavaya is translated here by Srila Prabhupada's servants as various intentions for Krishna's pastimes, and sometimes it's described by the acharyas as various types of incarnations. So let's just deal with the various intentions. So what are the intentions of Krishna's pastimes? Krishna's motivation. Intention actually means motivation. What is Krishna's motivation? Of course, generally we find described in the Bhagavad Gita, the motivation is Vatrichanaya, Sadhunam, Vinashaya, Chadushkritam. Isn't it? I descend to Prichanaya Sadhunam to protect the devotees and protect the pious. Vinashaya Chadushkritam, to destroy the miscreants. Dhamrasam stop, but not Paya. Sambhavami, yuge. I come to establish religious principles. That's generally the description. Although Prabhupada comments elsewhere that Krishna doesn't have to do those things. Prabhupada, this is a common topic that Prabhupada talks about, that these particular objectives can be accomplished by Krishna's energies and Krishna's devotees, because Krishna is apta kama. Apta kama means he gets what he wants, when he wants it, and he's not dependent on anyone else to do that, because all of his energies and devotees are first-class servants of his. And what is a first-class servant? A first-class servant is someone who does what he or she is asked, or not even asked, what he or she is required to do without being asked. That's a first-class servant. So, of course, we should all aspire to be first-class servants of His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada. And in order to become first-class servants of His Divine Grace, Srila Prabhupada, then it requires manobhishtam. That's an interesting expression. Just like Srila Rupa Goswami is considered to be our acharya, we're Rupa Nugas. Sri Chaitanya manobhishtam, stapitam Rupa, isn't it? So, because Rupa Goswami knows the mind, manobhishtam, of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, therefore, we are called Rupanugas, because he is representing Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, and of course his books such as the Bhakti Rasamrita Sindhu, and of course for those of you who are more advanced, the Ujjvala Nilamani are our guidebooks or the law books for the Krishna conscious movement. So his example is that we should also understand the intentions, not only of Sri Chaitanya Mahaprabhu, but also, but primarily for us, the intentions of His Divine Grace, A.C. Bhaktivedanta Swami Srila Prabhupada. So what is Prabhupada's intention? That's very interesting. Why did Prabhupada preach? Why did Prabhupada come to the Western world? And of course, there are many strategies that Prabhupada employed in carried out his intention. Strategies such as book distribution, strategies such as opening up temples, strategies such as, sending devotees on Harinam. But what is the intention? It's really important to understand the intention. The intention of His Divine Grace Srila Prabhupada was, as I often say, more devotees, happier devotees. That means Krishna conscious, because you can't be happy if you're just like in Maya, but still in Krishna, in the temple. That's not the point. That means deeply Krishna conscious persons with very, very deep Krishna consciousness. And in that way, one becomes happy. And Prabhupada wanted more devotees like that, more devotees, happier devotees. So everything that Prabhupada did, very interesting, was a strategy to achieve that particular purpose. Sometimes we confuse strategies with intention. Does everybody understand this? It's a really interesting point. Sometimes people think, well, let's give you an example. With Prabhupada's point of view, that we think that Prabhupada's whole intention was to open up a lot of temples or install a lot of deities. I mean, just like, for example, I'm going to be, in the next week or two, advising one particular temple, and they want to install a lot of deities. And they're thinking, this is actually Krishna consciousness, to install a lot of deities. And I have to explain to them that means that in their particular situation, it may actually run counter to Prabhupada's intention. What do I mean run counter? How can installing a lot of deities run counter to Prabhupada's intention? It could run counter because everyone will be absorbed in just taking care of the temple and deity worship and maintaining the temple and collecting a lot of money. And then what goes to hell? The preaching, the reaching, because the whole purpose of having the deities is so that people will become Krishna conscious. Otherwise, Krishna doesn't need to come down, just like it's described here, relating to this particular verse and purport. Krishna doesn't have to come down to annihilate the miscreants and establish religious principles and, protect the devotees. But what is his actual purpose in coming down? Of course, let's talk about the exoteric purposes first. His actual purpose is to display his pastimes. Prabhupada in the beginning of Krishna book talks about this, that people have this sort of imaginative concept of God. They project their own particular understandings or misunderstandings or experience upon the Supreme Personality of God and think that God is like this or God is like that, God is like a light, or as spoken by some pre-Socratic philosopher who actually had a very good understanding of this particular dynamic. He said, if horses had a God, he would look like a horse. And if, of course, Krishna does have his Hayagriva incarnation, so that's another point. And he said, people from Africa had God, God would look like Africa. Just like you see, even when people depict Lord Jesus Christ, for example, right? They depict him according to their culture. Those who are Scandinavians, they will depict Jesus Christ as having what? Blonde hair and blue eyes. And actually, if you do some genetic analysis, you'll understand that he pretty much had darker hair and darker eyes and swarthy complexion. So anyway, so we do have this tendency to project our own conception upon the absolute truth. Some people project because they see everything in this world is imperfect, so the absolute truth must be without any qualities. They say every quality in this world is imperfect, so the absolute truth must be without quality. So Krishna comes down, as Prabhupada points out, to actually show what he's actually like, so people can become attracted to him. Now that's one of the necessities of Krishna's descending or becoming an avatar in this world. So people will become attracted to him, and when they're attracted to him, then what? Raso varjam rasopirsa, param drastani vartate. They can give up attraction to things of this world. So that's Krishna's intention. And of course, Krishna also has nanabhavaya. Krishna also has his own internal intention, which is called the esoteric, and sometimes in the Chaitanya Charitamrita, it's described as the primary reason for the Lord's advent. There's this primary and secondary reason. So primary means his own personal reason. What's his own personal reason? That he likes to enjoy certain pastimes that are not fully manifest in the spiritual world, such as the pastimes of killing demons. And we've often talked about this before because I talk about Ras theology, that Krishna likes to enjoy sometimes ghastliness, which is an indirect Ras, secondary Ras. Sometimes he likes to enjoy extreme anger. And of course there's humor and all these other things that Krishna enjoys. So that's his actual intention. So anyway, so you got this esoteric and exoteric intention, or his personal intention, or his actual external intention, which is for our benefit. So whatever Krishna does in this world, getting back to the intention, and I'm going to cite some some verses from the Bhagavatam to justify this. Whatever Krishna does is for the benefit of all the conditioned souls. Not only for the demigods, not only for the sages, not only for the devotees, but also for the demons. And that's the point the acharyas are making. You know, samoham sarvabhuteshu name dvesho stina priyaha. Krishna is equal to everyone. So whatever he does with everyone, or anyone, or to anyone, is for their benefit. And so that particular topic is brought out in the 7th canto of Srimad Bhagavatam, in this wonderful conversation between King Parikshit and Shukadeva Goswami. Because King Parikshit is inquiring from Shukadeva Goswami, I'm not sure if I'm going to read some of this because we don't have much time, that he says that the Supreme Personality of God is supposed to be the well-wisher and dear to everyone. In other words, he's supposed to be helping everyone. So why does he just act like a common man for the sake of Indra? And why does he start killing Indra's enemies? How can a person who's impartial be supposedly impartial, as he says in the Gita, be partial to some and inimical towards others? Because we are partial towards some people because of what they do for us. You know, just like I'm a sannyasi, so if someone gives me big donations, I'm partial towards them. Not really. Hopefully not. Hopefully not. Oh, that's one of the problems. Like that was pointed out by Lord Chaitanya Mahaprabhu when he was dealing with Raghunath Das Goswami, because Raghunath Das Goswami was begging at the Singadwara gate for food. And eventually he gave it up. And Lord Chaitanya said, this is very good. Because he's begging at the gate and he's thinking, well, he wasn't thinking because he's a pure devotee, but there may be the tendency to think, this person gave me something yesterday. Let me approach him. The other person, he just ignored me. I'm not interested in him. So we have this consciousness in this world, and it's a very dangerous consciousness, especially for a sannyasi to get into, that I will give my mercy to this person because this person gives me some reciprocation that's pleasing to me, and I won't give mercy to someone else or give attention to someone else. So, you know, we may be partial because of that. And actually, as Madhyamadikaris, we're supposed to be partial. Not because of donations. But we're supposed to be partial because if someone's inimical, we don't approach them. And if someone is favorable, then we give them compassion or mercy. If someone is already a devotee, we make friendship with them, you know, Madhyamadikari. But Krishna is not like that. Krishna has to deal with everyone in a way that's best for them. And so the question Parikshit Maharaj is raising, it's a really interesting question. The beginning of the 7th canto, 7.1.1, the actual first verse there. And, you know, Parikshit Maharaj keeps asking, I'm going to paraphrase because I don't have much time, why is he acting that way? What is interest? What is his interest? You know, we're talking about Nana Babar, the first two words in this verse we had today. What is his interest? Why is he afraid of these asuras? Why is he so envious of them? He even uses the word envious. Krishna is not envious, but he's actually asking this sort of rhetorical question. He probably knows the answer, but he's asking this. And then he says, please dispel my doubt in this particular regard. And Shukadeva Goswami is really happy with this question. These are the sort of questions the disciples should ask the guru. Not, should I get divorced from my wife, you know, how much alimony should I pay, you know. I get those questions regularly. So, and then Shukadeva Goswami explains that actually the Supreme Personality of Godhead is not subject to the modes of nature, sattva, raja, and guna. And then he explains the modes of nature, how the modes of nature actually favor the demigods, or favor those in the mode of goodness. So that's actually an indication for us that we should cultivate the mode of goodness, so we'll actually be favored. So that's one way the Lord is equal, samoham, because the way he arranges the world is if people choose a particular mode of nature, they're favored, and if people choose another mode of nature, they're struggling or have problems. Mode of passion, mode of ignorance, they have problems. And when the Supreme Lord comes down, he doesn't assume a body in the modes of nature. His body is transcendental. So anyway, so these is trying to summarize some of the things that I'm just looking at right now. So Parikshit basically asks that how is it that the Lord is compassionate or equal to all these particular persons? And then Shukadeva Goswami answers in the way, I'm trying to get to the verse right here. Therefore, with the demons, by enmity or by devotional service, by fear, by affection, this is 7:126, by affection or by lusty desire, by all of these, or any one of them, if a conditioned soul somehow or other concentrates his mind upon the Lord, the result is the same for the Lord. Because of his blissful position, he's never affected by enmity or friendship. No matter how one concentrates on the Lord is not affected. And Narada Muni continues, here's Narada Muni, continues, because Narada Muni is describing this conversation. By devotional service, one cannot achieve such intense absorption in thought of the Supreme Personality of Godhead as one can through enmity toward him. That is my opinion. So in other words, if you want to meditate on Krishna, start to hate him. Just like you see some of these atheists, they write so many books about how there's no God. I haven't written so many books about how there is God. They think about God, isn't it? They just dedicate their lives, go on the internet, write so many books. They're absorbed in the Supreme Personality of Godhead, more than practically any devotee I've ever met. So, finally, actually, oh my God, there's so much here. So the final verse, 7:132, because the class is almost over. Somehow or other, one must consider the form of Krishna very seriously. And then the example, 7:131. The gopis by their lusty desires, Kamsa by his fear, Shishupala and other kings by envy, the Yadus by their familiar relationship with Krishna, you Pandavas by your great affection for Krishna, and we, the general devotees, have all obtained the mercy of Krishna. In other words, Kamsa, Shishupal, and other kings have been envious. And here's the final thing, 7:128. A grassworm confined in a hole of a wall by a bee always thinks of the bee in fear and enmity and later becomes a bee simply because of such remembrance. Similarly, if the conditioned souls somehow or other think of Krishna who is Satchidananda Vigraha, they will become free from their sins. Whether thinking of him as their worshipful Lord or as an enemy, because of constantly thinking of him, they will regain their spiritual bodies. Wow. Of course, we know in many cases they merge into the existence of the Absolute Truth. And they don't actually merge. They appear to merge into the Brahmajyoti. And they again come back. But at least their devotional services started at that particular point. They're meditating on the transcendental form of the Supreme Personality of God. And this way the Lord is equal, and that's one of his main intentions upon coming down to this earth planet, is to give mercy to everyone equally. So, Thank you very much. All glory is due divine grace. Shil Prabhupada ki jai.
Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Taksham Varhavatam Samasitam Buddha Sundarangam Kandar Agom Vidamaniya Vishesha Shobha Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami Angani Yasa Sakalem Kriya Priti Manti Pasyanti Panti Kayanti Chiram Jaganti Ananda Chinmaya Sadhu Jala Vigrahasya Govindam Adipurusham Tamaham Bhajami 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 Govindam
Namo Vishnu Padaya Krishna Prasthaya Bhutale Srimate Bhaktivedanta Minita Kamande Namaste, Saraswati Deve, Gurmani Vacha, Nenge Nivesesha, Shunyavade Vachacha, Jesatarande. Jaya Sri Krishna Chaitanya Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Advaita Gadadhara Sivasari Narada Vrinda Krishna Krishna Chaitanya Prabhu Nityananda Advaita Gadadhara Sivasari Narada Vrinda Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Rama, Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Rama, Hare Rama. Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare, Rama Hare Rama, Rama Rama Hare Hare. Hare Krishna, Hare Krishna, Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Rama Hare Krishna Krishna, Hare Hare Rama, Hare Rama, Jai Om Vishnupad. Paramahamsa Satashi Shiva Divine Grace Sabaya Janana Sila Prabhupada ISKCON founder Acharya Sila Prabhupada
Chaito Darpana Marjanam Bhava Mahatavagni Nirvapanam Shreya Kairavya Chandrika Vitaranam Vijavadu Jivanam Anandam Buddhi Vardhanam Pratipanam Pranamrita Swadanam Sarvatma Snapanam Paramidayate Shri Krishna Sankirtanam Nam Namakari Bahuda Nija Sarva Shaktis Tatrapitani Amitasmarane Nakala Etadrishita Vakripa Bhagavan Mamapi Durdaiva Midrishami Hajjanina Nuraga Trinadapi Sunichena Tarorapi Suhishuna Amanina Manadena Kirtaniya Sadahari Nadanam Najanam Nasundarim Kavitam Vajagadisha Kamae Mama Janmani Janmani Ishvare Bhavadat Bhaktya Hoitaki Twai Ainanda Tanuja Kinkaram Patitam Mam Vishame Babam Buddha Kribayata Vabada Pankaja Stita Duli Sadrashim Vachintaya Nayanam Galadashrudaya Varanam Gadgadarudaya Gira Pulakarnishitam Vapukada Tavanamagahane Bhavishyati Yugayatam Namishena Chakshusha Bravashayatam Shunayatam Jagat Sarvam Govindam Virahename Ashlishyavam Anastumam Adarshanam Marmahata Karotuva Yatatatava Vidadatulam Patomat Prananatastusa Evanapara. Victory to the Sri Krishna Sankirtan, which cleanses the heart of all the dust accumulated for years and extinguishes the fire of conditional life, of repeated birth and death. This Sankirtan movement is the prime benediction for humanity at large because it spreads the rays of the benediction moon. It is the life of all transcendental knowledge. It increases the ocean of transcendental bliss and enables us to fully taste the nectar for which we are always anxious. Oh, my Lord, congregational chanting of your holy name alone can render all benediction to living beings, and thus you have hundreds and millions of names like Krishna and Govinda. In these transcendental names, you've invested all your transcendental energies. There are not even hard and fast rules for chanting these names. Oh, my Lord, out of kindness, you enable us to easily approach you by your holy names, but I am so unfortunate that I have no attraction for them. One should chant the holy name of the Lord in a humble state of mind, thinking oneself lower than the straw on the street. One should be more tolerant than a tree, devoid of all sense of false prestige, and should be ready to offer all respect to others. In such a state of mind, one can chant the holy name of the Lord constantly. Oh, Almighty Lord, I have no desire to accumulate wealth, nor do I desire beautiful women, nor do I want any number of followers. I only want your causeless devotional service, birth after birth. O Son of Maharajnanda Krishna, I am your eternal servitor. Yet somehow or other I have fallen into the ocean of birth and death. Please pick me up from this ocean of death and place me as one of the atoms at your lotus feet. Oh, my Lord, when will my eyes be decorated with tears of love flowing constantly when I chant your holy name? When will my voice choke up? And when will the hairs of my body stand on end at the recitation of your name? Oh, Govinda, feeling your separation, I am considering a moment to be like 12 years or more. Tears are flowing from my eyes like torrents of rain, and I am feeling all vacant in the world in their absence. I know no one but Krishna as my Lord, and he shall remain so even if he handles me roughly by his embrace, or makes me broken-hearted by not being present before me. He is completely free to do anything and everything, for he is always my worshipful Lord unconditionally.